Science killed God. Really? That's the atheist's mic drop? That's like saying, I figured out how my PlayStation works, so Sony doesn't exist. Here's the problem. The claim that science disproves God isn't just weak, it collapses under its own weight. In fact, it's the atheist's weakest argument. And if you're still using it, buckle up. I'm about to show you why even science itself would laugh you out of the lab.
This channel was born from compassion. Every watch and subscribe brings real help to children and families in need.
The weakest flex. The line usually goes like this. We don't need God anymore because science explains everything. But science doesn't explain everything. It explains how things work, not why they exist at all. Think of it this way. You open up an iPhone, study all the circuits, and say, see, no Steve Jobs. That's not intelligence, that's confusion. Explaining the engine doesn't erase the engineer. Science is the manual. God is the author. Different categories. Confusing the two is the intellectual equivalent of mixing oil and water. The history nobody told you. Now, maybe you've heard, religion and science have always been at war. Nope. That story was cooked up in the 1800s by two guys, Draper and White, who wanted to paint churches as science's enemy. Historians today call it what it is, a myth. Let's fact check. Monks preserved ancient manuscripts. The world's first universities, founded by Christians. The fathers of modern science, Newton, Kepler, Faraday, Pascal, were not atheists. They saw science as studying God's creation. So the God versus science war is about as accurate as saying basketball players hate sneakers. The sneakers made the game possible. 4 holes in the only science gives truth claim. Now let's dissect the real issue. The atheist's weakest argument isn't evolution or the Big Bang. It's this. Only science gives real truth. That idea is called scientism. Sounds powerful, but it falls apart faster than a dollar store umbrella in a hurricane. First hole, drawing the line. Where exactly is the border between science and not science? Philosophers can't agree. If you can't draw the line, you can't say only this side matters. That's like saying only tall people are human. Try telling that to Lionel Messi. Second hole, the future problem. Science works by assuming tomorrow will behave like today. Gravity will keep pulling, the sun will rise, and water will boil. But can science prove that assumption? Nope, it just believes it. That's faith, not data. Third hole, data overload. The same evidence can support multiple theories. So how do scientists choose? They use values like simplicity, elegance, beauty. But those aren't test tube measurements. They're judgments from outside science. Fourth hole, the math mystery. Why does math, a human invention, line up so perfectly with the structure of the universe? Nobel physicist Eugene Wigner called it unreasonable effectiveness. That's like writing random rap bars and finding they match perfectly with everyone's heartbeat. Coincidence? Or design? Put it together, and the slogan, "Only science gives truth," self-destructs. You can't prove it with science. It's just philosophy, pretending to wear a lab coat. What science can't sweep away. Even if you crown science as king, there are things it simply can't reach. The laws themselves. Science describes what laws do, but not why they exist or why they're so precise. Fine-tuning. The constants of the universe are balanced on a razor's edge. Change one, and no stars, no planets, no life. Shouting multiverse doesn't prove anything. It's just another guess in disguise. Consciousness. You can measure brainwaves all day, but you'll never capture the taste of pizza or the ache of heartbreak. That's the hard problem of consciousness, and it's way outside the lab. Science is like the best flashlight in the world. It lights up the room beautifully, but it can't tell you why the house is even there. Strong atheists versus weak atheists. Here's the difference. Strong atheists don't waste time claiming science killed God. They go after the heavy stuff. If God is good, why is there evil? Or, if God is real, Why does he feel hidden? Those are weighty challenges worth debating. But the weak atheist? They cling to scientism. They repeat, "I only believe in science." That's not skepticism. That's blind faith in a different outfit. It's like flexing in the gym with fake weights. Looks impressive in the mirror, but when it's time to lift for real, everyone sees it's hollow. The knockout punch. Whoa, science is amazing. It cures diseases, builds rockets, splits atoms. But it's not the ceiling of truth. It's just one floor in the building. So next time someone says, "Science killed God," hit them with this question: what experiment proved that? And wait for the silence. That silence is the sound of the atheist's weakest argument collapsing.
This channel was born out of compassion. On our birthdays, instead of celebrating, we visited the poor and homeless. What we saw touched us deeply. Families in need, children with dreams, but no support. That's why every view, like, and subscription here goes beyond numbers. It brings food, clothing, and hope. It costs you nothing, but it changes lives forever. Join us today. Watch, subscribe, and share. Together, we spread faith, hope, and love.